When Firebase, the startup company, launched, it was dead simple to use. You could get a database that a number of clients could connect to, and the data would be synchronized real time. Beautiful, simple, easy to use. Now, when Google bought the company, they added some enterprise features that added all kinds of friction. Now, it turns out that if you're willing to tough that out, under the hood, it's still pretty simple. There's just really one key setting that you need to set up. So let me go ahead and show you that. If you read through the documentation, you'll see that by default, the Firebase database is closed. That means no one can access it. And for most testing that you want to do, you want to simply enable public access. And so as you can see here in this box, there are the settings for default, public, user, private, etc. The ones we want are these, public. That means anyone has access to it. Now, the database, the new interface for the Firebase database looks like this. And if we go to, I believe is the database here, and we take a look at the rules, you'll see there that I've copied and pasted that configuration. In other words, I've opened it up to the world. Once I did that, then everything worked. And although the the functions and methods have changed as well, it wasn't that hard to figure it out. Okay, so this is how you modify it so everyone can access it. Now let me go back to the Sunflower. That's the name of this database within Firebase. And as you can see here, the first thing that you see once you create the database within Firebase is that you have a choice here of a configuration for iOS, for Android, or for web. If you click on web, you'll see a block of JavaScript that is the bare minimum that you need in order to create an HTML page using Firebase. As you can see here, it references the Firebase library, and it also provides some API keys in order for you to access. Now I've gone ahead and used this within an application, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that next. As you can see here, that first block of JavaScript is simply what you see on that page. After that, this is simply an example. I tried to redo the chat server synchronization. And after that, what you have is simply a few buttons and some divs. The first one says welcome, and I generate a user randomly. The second one is simply a message box for you to type some text into. The third one, the third line here, is a button to submit that message, and the last one is simply a div to show all of the messages. Now, as you can see here, I have a couple of methods. The first one is push. This one pushes into the database, the Firebase database. As you can see here, the format has changed a little bit, but essentially it's somewhat similar. It's just a matter of getting the right pattern. Then I flag, or I'm looking for the events when a child is added, and then when that child is added, I simply call the display chat message, and I loop through and pull out that new message and update the div on the page. So pretty straightforward. Let me go ahead and show you that. Well, first let me show you as you can see here, this database has no data. And I'm going to go ahead and switch now to the browser, and we're going to go ahead and enter some information. I have a couple of browser windows, as you can tell here. One of them says guest 84, the other one says guest 73. Let's go ahead and say hello from 84. Let's go ahead and submit that. And as you can see there, it shows up in both browsers, and I'll simply say the same, hello from 73. And as you can see, that has shown up in both places. Now, if we go back to the Firebase database and we expand these two objects that were created, you can see there that the ID is that of the user, and we also have the hello. So that's it. It's a pretty simple, bare bones, basic demo of the new functionality of Firebase, which after you get through all of the friction of the Google authentication and all of that, you can use just as easily as before. So this is something that we could easily use in class.